In this video, I'll show you how we added 4 extra seats, custom consoles, and these console platforms right behind the cab in this Mercedes Sprinter camper van, so everyone can ride in comfort with cup holders, phone chargers, and storage all at the perfect height. Welcome back to the channel. I'm building out this Mercedes Sprinter, turning it from this cargo van into this camper van. In this video, we're adding a seating area behind the cab. The Sprinter came with 2 factory seats in the front, but we're adding 4 more in the back. And of course, those passengers need a place to put drinks, charge phones, and store small items while traveling. So in this video, I'll walk you through the layout process, what I purchased, and building the custom console platforms. So let's get started. Because this is a cargo van, it doesn't have seat rails or factory mounting points that a passenger van would have, but that's not a problem. There are companies that make seats specifically for this situation. I ordered these from CVC, Commuter Van Conversions. I'm not affiliated with these folks, just letting you know what I purchased. They're designed for cargo vans, include the mounting hardware, and in my opinion, they look great. They're also DOT, Department of Transportation, and FMVSS certified. So if you're not sure what this is and thinking about installing seats, I would encourage you to look into it. You want the seats to be safe, to hold up in an accident, God forbid, and also hold up in discussions with insurance companies. So first thing I did was clean the floor and started laying out the seats. I tested the layout, putting down cardboard to avoid scratching the floor. I also made a 3D cardboard layout, a rough layout of the bed and the cabinets to help visualize where everything would go and what the spacing would feel like. For the seat installation itself, I had a local company handle the job since they specialize in this kind of work. They had the right equipment and experience to do things like drop the gas tank, and take care of everything needed to securely mount the seat base plates. So, with the seats and the base plates fully installed, I actually removed the seats with just a few bolts, leaving the base plates in. Got the seats out of there so they would be out of the way and wouldn't get damaged as I continued the van build. I can easily reinstall these later once the van is close to being finished. Here's what they look like after the installation and with the trim piece in place. Now, with the seats taken care of, the next question is, how do you get the passengers to actually enjoy the ride? That's where the consoles come in. For the consoles, we wanted something that looked good, but was also functional. So things like cup holders, phone charging, and storage were a must. We found these on Amazon, and they seem to have everything we needed. They've got a wireless charging pad, phone slots, cup holders, USB ports, storage, and this cool ambient blue lighting that can be turned on and off. Perfect for long drives. So we purchased 2, and we'll install 1 for each row of additional seating. And of course, those consoles can't just sit on the floor or they would be too low. They need to be at the right height, solidly in place and cleanly integrated. That's where our custom console platforms come in. To get the consoles at the right height, we built custom console platforms that also serve as storage. I broke this up into 5 steps. Cut the panel pieces you'll later assemble into the platform box. I sized them so they fit directly under the consoles, so same width and length, and then made them just tall enough for a comfortable reach when seated. Once I had the dimensions, I used leftover 1/2-inch Baltic birch plywood and cut the pieces to assemble. There are probably several ways to do this, but essentially you're building a box. So once you've figured out the overall size and which panels you need, use a table saw to cut them to size. And there are a few other considerations like cutouts and routing that I'll show later. And a tip here, I use this automated power switch that basically turns the vacuum on and off with the saw or whatever tool you have hooked up to it. It's a game changer for sawdust control. Basically, the vacuum comes on automatically and turns off automatically. I'll leave the link below if you're interested in that. For a nice finished look inside the storage compartment, I added automotive carpet here. I cut the carpet to size, sprayed with 3M 90, and then pressed into place. Pretty straightforward. Next, I cut an opening in the bottom for the wiring to pass through. The wiring will power the USB outlets, the wireless charger, and one of the platforms will have an AC outlet on the back also that I'll install. I also angled the corners so you don't see the raw plywood edges, then glued, clamped, and screwed everything together. I also added a small partition to keep a space for the outlet box and the wiring to pass through. I countersunk the screws and covered the heads with wood filler. Once the filler dried, sanded everything smooth. For the exposed plywood edges, I added edge banding. If you're not familiar with what this is, it's a strip of wood veneer that's applied to the edges of plywood to cover the exposed plywood layers. I used 1/2 inch pre-glued banding, cut it to length, applied heat with an iron to activate the glue, and then pressed it into place. And then trimmed and sanded the edges smooth. Because the consoles were originally designed to plug into a cigarette lighter, I needed to get the wiring from the front where it plugged in to my wire pass-through area in the back. So I routed a path for the wiring into the platform under the console, cut off the cigarette lighter adapter, and will wire these directly into my 12-volt source, which will connect to the fuse panel in the electrical cabinet in the back. And the final step for the platform boxes, I masked off the carpeted areas and painted the exterior, adding more filler and sanding between coats. Now for the actual installation. I installed them after the flooring went in, just directly on top of that flooring. So they're screwed down through the flooring into the subfloor, but not through the metal van floor. So no need to poke more holes in the van floor. Here's the finished seating area with the floor trim and the consoles installed. You can see the outlet on the front console platform, so both the rear and the front passengers can access it and use it. And that's it. The van now has 6 seats set up and ready to roll. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. If you'd like to see other videos in this series, I have a link to that, as well as a link to the series from my previous ProMaster van conversion. So check those out if interested. And thanks for watching.